Okay, so number 50 says if f of x is equal to the tangent of 2x, then f prime of this value is what? So all I need to do is find the derivative and plug in the input of pi over 6. So f prime of x is equal to, well, the derivative of tangent is secant squared, and it's secant squared of 2x, but remember the chain rule says we have to multiply by the derivative of the inside. So what we're really looking at is 2 secant squared of 2x. And we're trying to find what is f prime at pi over 6. So I need to input my pi over 6 input value here for x and then evaluate. So 2 times pi over 6 will become pi over 3 from reduced form. And I have secant squared of pi over 3. And I'm going to multiply that with 2. Well, secant is the inverse of cosine, which is 1 over cosine. So all I need to do is identify the fact that if I find the cosine and then just take its inverse or flip it like it's reciprocal, I have secant. So if I'm looking at this like the cosine of pi over 3. So in my unit circle, pi over 3 is of course here. Because it's 60 degrees, so it's 3, 2, 1. It's this point right here. So the x value is 1/2, and then going back with the y values, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're looking for the cosine, which is the x value, which is 1/2. So if the cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2, well then the secant of pi over 3 is the inverse of that 1/2, which is 2 over 1. It's the flip, because here shows you that it's the flip. Okay, so now that we've found the secant of pi over 3, we're just going to take 2 over 1 and we're going to square it. Because remember, secant squared, the way we have it written here, is still in our calculator and should be interpreted like this, secant squared. So 2 over 1 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. My answer is E for number 50.